again, what else we can do that's current, that maybe makes more sense to do current, because certain things you can't bond. Fire trucks you can, but other things you can't really normally bond for a parking lot or other types of equipment, so it would allow us to look at the plan a little bit differently and then shift stuff forward. Or accomplish some other things. So definitely add more information to the process and see what the numbers. So I don't know if that's the conversation initially, is what number do we want, and then we figure out the project's secondary. We have an initial, we have a starting point.
I just don't increase taxes. I'm good with that.
So we can just push it up until it stays the same. So,
I'm being fresh.
right.
So,
So we can, so I can get a little bit more information for next time on that piece, or everyone can think about those things. But do we want $900,000, or do we want $800,000 per year, or we want to figure out what that means to the tax rate now, and then work backwards from that?
That may be the thing to do, yeah.
All right.
Is there a lot of moving pieces this year with the extra, what was the final number from Northeast Utilities?
it's gonna probably,
It's 1.2 million, but I think we need to add the revenue side conversation to this also, because that's gonna drive the other
That's
side
gonna
of the
change.
tax rate.
Right,
So I think maybe we can pull that together for next week too, because we need all those pieces at the same time to have that conversation, to see where it's gonna go. Make some decisions of not to put certain things in the general fund, and that's gonna have an impact on the tax rate. Okay. So that's what we're doing next time. But no, I think that's gonna be helpful, just so we have all that information to be able to look at how we wanna manage this last piece.
So we got capital plan with timeline, debt service, do those numbers get set out?
Yeah,
yeah, that's,
Okay, yeah, so we know what that is.
yeah, capital's the only budget we haven't. Well, we got salary increases to do next time too.
The salary increases, we need to just tell that all to pick some.
yeah, we
Yeah,
already
yeah,
calculated it.
because they've got
Tell
that
you
for
what they are.
many years, yeah, we could, right.
Then we can start doing it to all vehicles. That'd be one thing.
And then revenue is the other variable that's gonna drive this. So those are the salary, some estimated capital, revenue. Are the last pieces of the puzzle, at least have a starting point before we start changing the numbers.
I wanna have a whole new ambulance program.
So we have another night left, we can do all that.
2 minutes.
Is one? All right, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get through the majority of it next time, so if we need the other ones to back up.
And I
So we
won't,
could go home tonight now.
I
actually,
won't be here on this one yet. Out of town, so.
should I have Randy?
Yeah,
Nice.
hopefully on Thursday.
Good to go, all right? We got the comment?
Yes. Comment on the sewer system, to think about single Manhattan and how many people live there without the necessity of a sewer. And again, as a taxpayer, I'm not gonna get sewers on Churchill Road. Why should I fund sewers for downtown that does not have any problem with their sewer system right now and has a lot of open spaces for business to come in? And Rossi property, all the back could be used to make a sewer field as well. That's what he has proposed many times, but hasn't found anyone to get up the thing yet. So I think it's a bit premature, like Mark was saying, to put money aside for a study of the sewer at this point. And we studied it to death for the last 20 years. My second comment has to do with, more in general, with our legal process, how we do things. Our system is a board of selectmen, board of finance, and town meeting. Taxpayers' money comes through the town meeting, decides, vote on a budget, after you guys sweat it out and look at detail, cut 1,000 here, 1,000 there, but you approve it and send it to the town for approval. Nobody else in this organization can spend money without your approval and the townspeople's approval. Earlier at the Board of Selectmen meeting earlier today, the town planner ran too late for an application for a grant, and this is a matching grant, $160,000, where the town would be on the hook for $16,000. And without coming to you, the first selectman approves the grant, the contract. And at this point, it's a violation of the charter as well as a statute, because no officer can actually, without your approval, spend money for the town. The idea is that it would come to you first, and then you have a discussion, and the public would be allowed to make some comments and ask questions about the grant and everything else. And tonight, it just showed up on the agenda, was approved, and if the grant goes through, the town is on the hook for $60,000 that you guys didn't even approve. And it's been a pet peeve of me, as I remember when I was on this board, that grants should not be approved without coming first to the Board of Finance to make sure there's no matching money or matching personnel that has to work and be paid for. Unfortunately, it happened tonight, and all I'm trying to say is that it's not against one party or the other. It's simply that we have a process in place, and I think we should follow the process. That's simple. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank Joe for changing the capital plan back to 10 years. I brought that up at a Board of Selectmen meeting a couple weeks ago. I was told by the finance director and the first selectman that no, nobody does it like that. I do believe that's planning out 10 years, especially when we have some big projects coming down the pike that we plan for those big projects. As far as a big project like the sewer, again, Mr. Kapitulik mentioned at the last meeting on Saturday that, oh, we'll finally get numbers out of this study. And again, it's not a study, it's a plan, so I'm glad you changed that. But we already have tons of numbers. And I urge every Board of Finance member to go to the planning and zoning land use section of the town website and read the sewer study. I'm just going to read you these 3 sentences from the second page of the sewer study, because this is key for the plan that $67,000 supposedly will pay for. And this is a suggestion by Wright Pierce after we had spent tens of thousands of dollars for this plan. Both the sewer connections to Middletown and the wastewater treatment options are feasible, but very expensive, especially when considering the relatively small number of properties to be served and the resulting low design flow rates. Based on our cost estimates, it would still be considerably less costly to construct a small package type wastewater treatment system to serve Higginham Village when compared to the sewer connection to Middletown options. But the per property unit cost will still be very high. That's for each business owner. And they have to pay it, whether you're a church, whether you're the Grange, you are not exempt as a nonprofit organization or agency. If a larger sewer service area was identified, such as the Rossi property, the increased number of potential customers and the impacts on economic development could possibly help justify either alternative. Interconnection with Middletown would be more financially feasible if Middletown shared the cost related to the construction of the force main, but this would also likely require commercial development all along 154. At this time, now this is key, this is their recommendation. At this time, it is recommended that the EDC consider the long-term economic development potential that could be achieved by providing sewer service in order to determine if there is a justification to proceed with the next steps. We have not done any of that economic feasibility work yet. That needs to be done to see what those business owners, I've done my own research based on the East Haddam plant, what the business owners would actually be responsible for, because you're talking about a very small area. You're not talking about Portland, where you have thousands of residents, houses, businesses on the system. You're talking a handful in that small little section. This needs to slow down. We need to do the economic feasibility portion first. Then we can plan to see if we need to plan for sewers. It's kind of putting the cart before the horse. And I don't know if anybody knows what a black box system is. It's not a black box. That is such a misnomer. If you look at that piece of, well, the box behind the Pataconk in Chester, that is not a black box system. That's a pump house. They don't have their own sewer system there. They pump their stuff to Deep River. And so like in East Haddam, there's two huge buildings that is the black box system. I don't remember seeing, I'm not sure, Mark might have been there, but I don't remember seeing any of you guys at the water sewer discussion a couple years ago that the Higginham Vision Group planned. We had the East Haddam Water Pollution Control Authority director there explaining a lot of the system to the group. And also, I don't know if you all know that a Water Pollution Control Authority, if the town actually approves that through an ordinance, the Board of Finance will be taken out of the process. You will no longer have any control over any costs of a sewer system. That they will be able to set those costs, have complete authority over those costs. So again, I really think that we should follow what Wright Pierce, the professionals, have stated that we should be doing. This is their second report. This is an update on another report. So that is my suggestion. One last question. Joe, you had mentioned you tried to be fair throughout the process with the financials. And something that I've been told for now, it's been 4 years, almost 5 years, that the fire departments are going for their own 501c3 status. I know that you have, looks like you've completed it, but there's no 990 online. I'm wondering if you've submitted any 990s, and I'm also wondering about this side of the river, their financials. I know they have not completed their paperwork, but I'm wondering if the Board of Finance has asked the fire departments for any of their financials, especially since the fire department on this side of the river uses the town of Haddam's tax ID number. Is there any information on that, of getting that information, getting that data from the fire departments?
Public comment.
So you have no comment? Yeah, okay.
For the
Of course.
sake of conversation, I always kind of compare capacities to what we built at the middle school. And one of the things that we haven't talked about is the annual fees. And last time I heard, the middle school spends about, what, $125,000 in maintaining the sewer system for the middle school.
You got me there, Mark, I don't
Yeah.
have that figure.
So I mean, that's another option, bill. And I don't know if the entire town of Haddam is willing to pick that up. Just another thought.
They actually can't. The sewer fees have to be charged to the individual homeowners or businesses, or you cannot be, it's by statute, or you can't receive any clean water funds. So like take the Gelston House, for example, they pay about $35,000 a year for their sewer system, their sewer hookup. Now, you look at the small area that they have the same problem that we would have if we had sewers here. So you take somebody like the Canaris shopping center there with AJ's and everything, that's probably, and now I'd have to run the numbers again, like $30,000 a year. Talking about the Grange, they'd probably be $8,000 a year. So that's something that we have to take into consideration before we plan to do the sewer. So you're throwing good money after bad. That's my suggestion.
Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Beat me to it, Dave.
Septic system.
Oh, you can't-
In Killington.
Yeah, I call it sewer system because it's so huge.